Well, I'm 102 years old. It took me all that time to figure out something I could tell you in about 10 minutes. So if you've got 10 minutes, I can save you a century of doing it wrong. That seems like a fair trade, don't you think? Here's what I finally understand. Being practical is not the same as being smart. Being sensible is not the same as being safe. I spent 102 years making sensible choices, practical decisions, never taking a risk, never making a mess. And I'm sitting here in a sensible house with sensible furniture, wondering where my life went. Because I was so busy being practical, I forgot to actually live. I grew up Swedish Lutheran in Duluth, Minnesota. If you know anything about Scandinavians, you know we don't make a fuss. We don't draw attention. We don't ask for too much. My mother's favorite phrase was, "That's not practical." Wanted a red dress instead of a brown one? Not practical. Wanted to stay up late reading? Not practical. Wanted to go to college? Oh, Ruth, that's not practical for a girl. So I learned. I learned to want practical things. I learned to make sensible choices. I learned to fold up my dreams and put them away in a drawer, because dreams aren't practical, and the Johanssons don't do impractical things. And I was a good girl. I was a very good girl for 102 years. What a waste. So here's the first thing I want you to understand. But I'm saying I should have at least asked myself what I wanted. I never asked. I just did what was sensible. And sensible stole 79 years from me. So if you're facing a choice right now between the safe thing and the thing that makes your heart beat faster, please stop and think. Not about what's practical, about what you actually want. Because you might marry the safe choice and spend 51 years wondering. You don't want that. Trust me, you don't want that. Let me tell you about all the things I didn't do because they weren't practical. I never learned to swim. Too impractical. When would I need it? I never traveled outside Minnesota until I was 63 years old. Waste of money. I never wore red. Too attention-getting. I never learned to play an instrument. What's the point? I never told anyone what I really thought because that wasn't polite. I never asked for what I wanted because that wasn't modest. I never, not once in 102 years, did something just because it might be fun. I don't know who I am. Isn't that something? 102 years old and I don't know what I like, what I want, what makes me happy, because I never let myself find out. I was too busy being sensible. I was too busy doing what I should instead of what I wanted. And now I'm sitting in this house, and I couldn't tell you a single thing about myself that isn't practical. Do something impractical today. I mean it. Buy something you don't need. If someone in your life keeps telling you to be practical, to be sensible, to not take risks, ask yourself, is their life one you'd want to live? Because the people who told me to be practical, they weren't happy either. They were just scared, and they taught me to be scared too. Practical is often just fear wearing a cardigan. In 1947, I was 23 years old. I had two men who wanted to marry me. One was Carl Johansson, good Swedish boy, owned a hardware store, steady income, my parents approved. The other was Thomas Brennan, Irish, played piano in a jazz band, made me laugh until I couldn't breathe, wanted to move to Chicago and see what happened. I married Carl because it was practical, because it was sensible, because Thomas was a risk and I didn't take risks. Carl was a good man. We had 3 children. We had a nice house. We had 51 years together, and I can't remember a single moment of real joy. Not one. He died in 1998, and I didn't cry at his funeral because I didn't know how. I'd been so busy being practical for 51 years that I forgot how to feel anything. I heard Thomas move to Chicago like he planned, became a music teacher. I heard he was happy. I never asked more than that. I didn't want to know. Now, I'm not saying I should have married Thomas. Maybe that would have been a disaster too. Take a drive somewhere for no reason. Wear the bright color. Say what you actually think. Be inefficient. Be frivolous. Be a little bit foolish. Because foolish people have stories to tell. Practical people just have routines. The worst part? I passed it on. My 3 children, Eric, Anna, Peter, they're in their 70s now. Practical people, sensible lives, good jobs, nice houses, reasonable spouses. I'm proud of them. But I also ruined them a little bit, because I taught them what I was taught. Don't dream too big. Don't take risks. Be sensible. Eric wanted to be an artist. I told him that wasn't practical. He became an accountant. Anna wanted to move to California. I told her that was too far, too risky. She lives 20 minutes away. Peter wanted to marry a woman I thought was too wild. He didn't. He married someone sensible. They're divorced now. I thought I was protecting them. I thought I was giving them good advice. I was just giving them my fear. And now they're 70 years old, and they're as lost as I am, and I did that to them. I made them small because I was small. I taught them to be scared because I was scared. If you have children, please don't do what I did. When they come to you with their dreams, their wild ideas, their impractical plans, don't be sensible. Be encouraging. Let them fail. Let them try. Let them be foolish and young and brave. Because the alternative is they end up like me, and like them, sitting in sensible houses wondering what might have been. So here it is, what 102 years taught me, what I'm giving you in 10 minutes so you don't waste a century figuring it out. A practical life is not a safe life. It's a small life. Every time you choose the sensible thing over the thing you actually want, you shrink a little. And if you keep shrinking for long enough, you disappear entirely. You become a person who exists but doesn't really live, a person who survives but doesn't experience anything, a person like me. I did everything right. I never made a mess. I never caused a problem. I never embarrassed anyone. And I am sitting here at 102 years old with nothing but regrets. Not regrets about what I did wrong, regrets about what I never did at all. Scandinavian Reserve cracking just slightly. You have a choice. Every day you have a choice. The practical thing, or the thing that might make you happy. The sensible thing, or the thing that might make you alive. I chose practical for 102 years. I chose sensible. And I am telling you now, with whatever time I have left, it was the wrong choice. Every single time, it was the wrong choice. So please, be impractical. Be reckless sometimes. Take the trip, say the thing, wear the red dress, marry the person who makes you laugh until you cry. Make a mess, make mistakes, make memories. Don't be like me. Don't get to 102 and realize you were so busy being sensible that you forgot to live, because that's not practical. That's just sad. Oh, and if anyone knows what happened to Thomas Brennan, no, never mind. That's not practical either. But I still wonder. After all these years, I still wonder.